Designing your sales screen, building the sales screen from scratch. Okay, this could be quite a long video. I'm going to attempt to build an entire template, an entire sales screen, completely from scratch, with no objects, no template to get started with. Okay, so we're going to click on Sales Designer. At the moment, I've got the default template. Now, if I go to Template and Options, you can have as many templates as you want. So we're going to create a brand new one. I'm going to click Create New Template. So I'm going to give it a name. So I'm going to call this, well, let's make a widescreen template. Okay, so widescreen template. And typically, it's 1024 by 768. I'm going to make this a bit wider, so 1366, but the height's still 768. Now this is for the entire screen. Okay, so this will be designed for a tilde system that has a resolution of 1366 by 768, or an aspect ratio of 16:9. When it's in basic mode, I'm going to have the sales cart on the left, so I want the basic mode, the stuff that's going to change quite a lot, on the right. Okay, so if 640 is the width for the 1024 version, then 1366 minus 1024, add that onto that, I should get 982. That stays the same, and the difference was 384, so I'm going to move that across by 384. I press tick, good, and now we've got, if I click on full edit mode, this is the entire sales screen. Okay, so my first job is I need to work out where the basic mode starts and stops, so I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to go to Object, Solid Color, doesn't matter what color, this is only temporary, and I'm just going to draw a big massive box so that when I click on full edit mode, I can see where it's going to be. So I want to avoid drawing anything in there for the moment. My first priority is to build the sales cart, all the little buttons, how much the customer has to pay, that kind of thing. Okay. Again, this video is not for everybody. It is strictly for those customers who want to tinker around and make the most customized, unique to them sales screen, user applicable for their design colors and so on for their business. I'm going to turn snap to grid on, okay, because that normally turns off whenever you're in full edit mode. And again, if ever I want to look back at my last templates, I can just switch back and forward between them as well if I need to. Alright, so let's click on Object. I'm going to make these solid colors, not using photo buttons. So I'm going to pretend as if this is going to be designed for, you know, the type of computer systems that aren't that powerful or don't have that great graphics capabilities. So let's draw a solid color, let's say blue, and I'm going to go about there, maybe about that much, I think. Yeah, that should be enough. And now I'm going to go Set Special Object, Sales Cart. That is now the sales cart where all the items are going to go in. Okay, I want a transparent button. Let's put that down here. Okay, and then copy, paste. I'm going to draw another one here. Get a bit longer. That one is going to say scan barcode. Okay. I'm just going to move that up a bit because it's going on the other monitor. Turn auto size font off for that one. And I'm going to do the same for this one. Like that. We want to set the font to, let's say, 11. Okay, I'll leave that one as it is. Right click, let's change its text shadow. Let's turn that off. Let's make the it's solid color white, and the text color, sorry, it should be black, like that. We'll see what it looks like when it's on the sales screen later on. I'm going to go Set Special Object, Barcode Entry Box. So that is where the customer will scan barcodes in. Okay, so I think what I'll do is, I'm sorry, it keeps going off on the screen. I'm going to say Set Text Alignment, Center Left. I think that's probably better like that. Yeah. Okay, going to do another red button up here. Make sure it's lined up. go like that. And let's do a shaded color, dark red, like this. Set special object, and this one will be the cart total. No, cart total to pay. So whatever is amount to pay, that's what we're going to see. Okay, line that up. Line that up there. I think I'm going to move that one down, maybe 2 or 3 actually. I've changed my mind. I'll make it a bit bigger. Good. Next, after the sales cart and the barcode entry box, in theory, that should actually be able to open. But let's keep going. I'm going to have a white button there. Okay, these are going to be our tender entry boxes. So, copy, paste. I'm using Control and C and Control and V on the keyboard, but you can use the copy and paste buttons up here as well. Okay, so I want a third box like that. Oh, that's why Snap to Grid isn't on. There we go. Copy, paste, and hopefully I can fit these in. Well, I'll definitely get another line in there. Not sure about another one. I'm going to have to make that smaller, I think. Move them up a bit. Copy, paste. Excellent. There we go. The next column, I don't think it's going to fit, but that's okay. Oh, maybe it will. Yeah, it will do there. If it wasn't, I was just going to make it smaller. Okay, so this one is going to be 9. This one 8. This one 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. This one's going to be 0. This one is going to be a capital no, actually that one is going to be 00, I think. This one is going to be the clear button. Alright. I'm also going to need a tender entry box, so let's do that. Let's make a black box here. Alright. Good. That doesn't quite line up, does it? So I am going to make it smaller. There we go. I'm going to right click. I'm going to say set text color to be white. Perfect. Set the font to maybe 20. So do all this in dollars as an example. It doesn't matter because it will match the currency of whatever yours is. So I'm going to say set tender entry there. Okay. Maybe make it a bit bigger. Set font maybe 24. If that's 24, this is going to have to definitely be bigger, so we'll make that 26. So that one would look something like that. Okay, I think we can go bigger than that. Let's go 36. Yeah, that's fine. That's okay. Good. To make these buttons work, we're going to have to add a function. Okay, so this would be a payment button. Oh, sorry, no, it wouldn't. It would be the I'm not sure what actually. I think it's tender. Tender. My apologies. So that's 9. Add function. Tender 8. I thought it didn't look right. 8. This bit's a bit monotonous, but it has to be done. 7. 6. Okay. These ones are quite straightforward. When we get to the bottom buttons, we should be allowed to just put 00 and C in as well as different parameters for that function. So tender 3. Let's do another one. 2. Our first priority is just to make sure it actually works. Then what we can do is improve the aesthetics, make sure things line up better, improve graphics, that kind of thing. Okay. So this one, we'll allow us to use 00. And this one's 0, and we're down to the last one. No, not 0. C. Capital C as well. Excellent. Okay. That's not so bad so far. All of these buttons here, I'm going to right click and say they are permanent buttons. Same for these two. We want them always to be permanent. It did come up. It was just on my other screen there. Sorry about that. And again, we can keep switching between these two modes, but remember, it keeps turning snap to grid off whenever you switch, so make sure you turn that back on if you want to use it. I do prefer to have it on. Alright, before we test it, first, let's click on this, and I'm going to, sales cart, I'm going to click Customize Object in the top, okay? So we're going to add what columns we want to see. So if you're selling to businesses, you may want to see the price before the tax or VAT. But if you're selling to the consumers, you probably want to see the amount after the VAT or tax. So I'm going to press Add Quantity. And I want that to be a fixed width of 60. I might change my mind later, see what it looks like first. Item description obviously comes next. That one, we want it to fill the screen. So that can be as much, whatever space we've got left. Next one would be the selling price inc tax for me. It could be line total, it could be whatever you wish. I'm going to go with that, and I think that one also should be 60. And then finally we want the properties of the line. So that again, I think that can get away with being 40 really actually. And I'm going to click that, and I'm just going to put a question mark as its header. So you can put whatever you want. So if you just put inc tax there, I don't need item description, I'm going to just call that description. And the word quantity could be replaced with just the hash symbol there. Okay, I'm going to leave the colours as they are for the moment. I'm not going to play around with them just yet. I'm just going to press tick. And now to see what that looks like. So let's click away from it. Oh, firstly, I wanted to use this widescreen template. So I'm going to click Use Selected Template. So the sales screen will now use the selected template for this terminal. But just this one. So if I'm live with this system on other computers, I'm not going to affect that until I'm ready to change them over as well. So if I click sales mode, well, it started. That's a good thing. Don't like the blue background. We're going to have to do something with that. So let's see what we can do. I'm going to leave that open. Okay, so it helps me remember what to do. So customize object. First thing I need to do is I want to make the text alignment, we can say in the center, but the description, that needs to go on the left. That needs to go on the left. And I think that can definitely go smaller. That can go 40. Okay. Tick. See what that looks like. Yeah, I think that looks a bit better. Okay, that's not too bad. The next thing I want to sort out is these buttons. White isn't really going to work. Or, you know what? I'm going to select them. I'm going to make them a solid colour. Oh, just press the button first, sorry. And click that. That looks a bit more standout. Yeah. But for these boxes, I've got an idea what I'm going to do with them. I'm going to turn the text shadow off, and I'm going to make their forecolor black. Okay. Speaking of which, what does that look like for the barcodes? Yeah, that's fine. You can read that. Doesn't have to be that big. I think that's a bit large, but it doesn't matter. That background color, we can definitely do something with that. Let's make that grey. To be fair though, if you want, you can click customize object and give it a background color here. If you haven't specified it, let's specify it here as well, just in case. So do it there. And you can also use a background resource image. So you can have usually this will be your logo of your company. Alright, so that now changes color. Great. Okay, by the way, do these buttons work? I've just realised I've done these the wrong way around. It should have gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but it's not the end of the world. It's fine. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do here is we're going to have this one's going to say $20. This one's going to say $10, $5, and $1. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a function. Oh no, sorry, it's not a function for this. Special object, and it's quick payment button, and choose 20. The reason it's not a function is because, let me just put this one in, 10. It's because it changes the name of the button anyway. So even if we're in pounds or euros or anything like that, it's going to change the button name anyway. So quick payment button, that's a 5. And lastly is the 1. Quick payment button 1. Excellent. Okay. Now I'm going to need some buttons on the bottom. Okay, even if I don't know what they're going to be for yet, let's start getting those in. So we're going to need a red button here. Yep, snap into the grid. That's good. Okay. So I'm going to draw myself some boxes like this. Again, just copying and pasting. Oh, I just can't get the last one in, but it doesn't matter. This last one, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just make it smaller. And to make it look like that's what I wanted to do, I'm going to make it a different shade. Maybe that. This one is going to say exit. I'm going to add a function. Oh, it's already there. Exit sales screen. So at least I can get out of the screen now. Okay. Not going to make them work yet. I'm just going to decide what I want each one to do. So this one is going to lock the screen. This one is going to select a customer. This one might show any inter-store messages. Like that. This button is going to be for cash. And this button is going to be for card. Okay. These ones, you've got to go add function. And it is payment. Specific payment method button. Click that and choose cash. This one here, add function. The difference between payment button and specific payment button is this one you choose the type. So if you had multiple payment types of say web order or something, it will just use whatever comes first. This one here will use a specific type of whatever one of them they are. So as you can see, there's 2 web payments, so you can actually choose which one instead of it asking. So I'm going to choose card. Tick. Excellent. Okay. By the way, make sure all of these are permanent buttons. So I'm going to select them. I'm going to right click. You can't see it on yours, but it is there. So I'm just going to put them on. So all those buttons are permanent. I can delete this now because I know where it is now. I know that that's the what region that is. So I'm going to draw. Oh, that's quite large. So I'm going to put another box down here. This one is going to say cart total. Then I copy paste, and this is the cart total including tax. Not how much to pay, what the total is. So if there's any cash or card already in the cart, this is always going to say the actual total. Okay, I'm just going to put that there just so I know what it is. Right click, auto size font off. I'll do the same on this one. There we go. I'm going to make it a bit bigger like that. Excellent. Okay. I'm going to have one more button like this. Delete that. This will say functions. Or maybe let's put more functions. Okay. So we'll press this button if we need to get to our menu of other options that we want to choose. So all of that should also be a permanent button. Okay, so let's see what that looks like now. Starting to take shape. Don't like the blue. Let's fix that. So don't go there. Go template, edit selected template, and I'm going to choose a solid color. I could use a blend, I suppose, but let's say blue. No, I'll tell you what. We want a better blue than that. Maybe we'll do a blend. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, maybe that. That's not so bad. Tick. Tick. Yeah, I think that's a bit better. That grey doesn't work on the sales cart, but generally that would be where you would have all your logo on there anyway. Alright, back to full edit mode. Turn that back on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to make that a bit smaller, give it a bit of more gap. There we go. Okay, this one is lock terminal page. So because that is now set to lock terminal page, if I click on properties, I can actually just double make sure, yeah, it's of object type lock terminal page. This way the computer knows that when it needs to be locked, it knows which button to go to. So you can only have one of these. So what we do now is we double click that. Like this. We are actually inside lock terminal, but because all these buttons are permanent, it's hard to tell. So I'm going to right click all of them, visibility, exclude this permanent button from this page. So only within lock terminal do all the buttons hide. Okay. And if I can turn that on and off, they all disappear again. So now what I need to do is put a nice banner on here. These aren't permanent buttons. These just say terminal locked. Right click, turn that off, set font, make it a bit bigger. Gonna draw, doesn't matter what colour you pick for this bit. So about there. And you want user login box. Okay. I now only need two, but you don't need this button here to be fair, but I like to put them in. So I can have a next and a previous, but I'm just going to do a next page button. I think it's a function. That's it. Next page on locked screen. Do you know what? If you're going to do one, you might as well do the other. There we go. Add a function. And this one will be previous page on lock screen. There we go. Line them up. Give it a name. There we are. I would normally probably put some icons on there perhaps as well if I wanted to. That's okay. That looks good. Okay, so we press go back. So double click lock terminal. Perfect. That's just what we need. Okay, so let's go back. Let's see what that looks like actually. Let's close that. Close that. Sales mode. Lock terminal. Superb. And then you'd have to log in and you're back in. Excellent. So that's looking quite good. Okay. On the first page, we're going to need some boxes. So these aren't permanent. These are just some function buttons you very likely need. So I'm just going to draw a few of them. Oh, we didn't need that many. Delete that one. You don't have to do this the way I'm doing it, but that's a miscellaneous product. Find item. Refund. Customer orders. View sales. New customer order. And the last one is probably print receipt, I think. Anything else, we'll just put in functions. Okay, I'm not going to make them all work, but I'll make this one work actually. So just find product there, and just do that on all of them. Okay, back to full edit mode. We're going to go into more functions. Turn full edit mode back off. And I'm just going to use draw multiple, solid colours, and we'll say 16. Excellent. There we go. Press back or F2 on your keyboard. And we're back to where we were there. So again, it's starting to take shape. This one here, we need that one to do add function. Select customer. Tick. Okay, so that works. Let's put some products in the cart. Let's see if it's actually working. So find item. There's 2 I did earlier. That's okay. That looks good. £3 is correct. So if I put £1 in, beautiful. That's working correctly. What I'm missing here now is a void or remove item button. So we're definitely going to have to put that in. So let's exit that. Go to Sales Designer. Full edit mode. I'm going to have to give myself a bit more space. But where shall I put it? I think what I'll do is I'm going to sacrifice a tiny bit more. But I don't want to use too much here. So I'm going to go like that. Is that a turn snap to grid on? This one needs to be about there. About there. It's actually 2 buttons I want really, I think. And if I need more, I'll just resize them. So this one here is void item. Okay, that needs to add a function. Void remove item. Let's get a better red on that. That's horrible. Like this. And I'm going to copy paste because I want another one in here. Okay. Okay, if I want to be really accurate, I can go to properties and set the widths exact. So that's 175. So I'll tell you what, make that 180. Make that 180. And then just knock it left a bit with the keys. This one is going to say receipt on or off, whichever one we choose. So that's going to be, that'll do. And set special object, and which one is it here? Pretty sure we've got a receipt button. There it is, receipt toggle button. Perfect. So now I've got a void button and I've got my receipts on or off as well. That's looking quite good, I think. So let's just test that before we do a few more. Excellent, so I should be able to void that. Perfect. Okay, so they all work brilliantly. So find item, let's put both of them in. Put them in again. There it is. Receipt on, receipt off. That's good. £6, good. If I void one, it's still 5. If I put 1, 2, 3 in and say cash, excellent. Okay, so this is working quite well. More functions, that works great as well. Now look, I've forgotten to set these 2 as permanent buttons. So that's my next job. So they should be permanent and on all the time. And since I've done that, let's go back into lock terminal. Right click, visibility, exclude. So I've got to make sure if I add any more permanent buttons, I must make sure to exclude them from the terminal locked screen as well. Okay. Only a few more things to go. The messages, I'd like that to light up when a message has been received. So I'm going to go conditions, add. If there is, I think it's, where is it under there? User has unread messages. I want to change the background style, background color, sorry, to red orange so it lights up. But if the user does not have any unread messages, then the background color should be as close as I can find to that purple. I don't know what it was, but that'll just have to do. Excellent. Okay. The next one I've got to do here now is the change. So whenever you take a payment, you need to put the change in the top left-hand corner, and we want that to overlay the item as well. Okay. Before I do that, let me just make sure. Oh, that looks fine. You can't tell there. Messages looks okay, I think. So what I'm going to have to do I'll probably mess this one up. I'm going to copy, paste, like that. And this one is going to be dark green to a lighter green, like that. Okay. And I don't want the, as I've copied it, this one's got the same property as the cart total to pay. So I don't want that. I'm going to put it as a standard object, I think it is. I'm going to layer it over that in a minute. Okay. But before I do, we need to add a condition. Okay. So transaction status as is complete. So if it's complete, I want the visibility to be true. But if the transaction is not complete, or we're just in a standard mode, then the visibility is false. We're going to do exactly the same thing on, actually I don't think we have to do the same thing on that one, because we're going to lay it above it, so it doesn't matter, I don't think. Let's just see what that does. That didn't work. Let's see what I've done wrong. Conditions. Transaction is normal. Set visible. Yeah, that should be invisible. Oh, well, first of all, it doesn't even work. So we need to make that work. So the cart total. So it's the total sales cart. One of these, is it? Nope, don't know where it is. Cart total, link tax to pay, total payments. I don't think that actually has one on the menu bar, but I'm pretty sure it does down here. Change total, that's the one. So after this video, I'll make sure it's in there so that you'd have to make the same mistake. Okay, so I'm going to void that off. And then I say cash. Probably should have put something in that had some change. Let's do that again. There it is, it's working now. £3. And we're going to go £5 note. Good. Change is displayed. And the second I click on a button and go back, no, it's still staying there. So we're going to have to do something about that. Ah, I know how I do it. It needs to be, it is a permanent button. I'm going to overlay it over that. Snap to grid on. I'm going to make that one, that red one, condition, add. If transaction status is standard, visibility is true. I think we get this to work by blocking it. So visible false. Let's see if that makes a difference. So send to back. There we go. Move it with the arrow keys. Okay, clear the cache. And let's just see if that made a difference. Good. Right, so find both of them. £10. Perfect. And the second I touch something or put another item in, beautiful. There we go. That's working now. So what you've got to do is overlay them and make that one hide, revealing the change behind the scene. I've missed a few other ones out here, objects that you probably do want to put in. One's a status bar. So if you want to put one of them in, you could put a home button in as well. In fact, I think I will put a home button in because that is a very useful button to use. So what we could do is give ourselves a bit more space there. Copy and paste that one. And this one is simply just going to say home. Different colour, dark grey. Set special object, shortcut home. Okay, excellent. Actually, I'm going to move that there and make that fit that part. Like that. See if that works. More functions, home. Superb. I bet the lock terminal though needs to get rid of it, so that's what we'll do. So if we go back into full edit mode, go into more functions, need to, sorry, not more functions, lock terminal. Right click. Let me just move this up a bit so you can see it. Visibility, exclude this button. And the same for that one. Visibility, exclude this permanent button. There we go. Alright. I think that's mostly the basics for what you would probably want to see on your sales screen. Obviously it needs a bit of aesthetics and work on it and so on. And you might want to put some icons on there, such like this, but I think that works quite well. You could add more things such as making that light up if there's a customer already selected. We should really be showing the customer's details, which customer's selected. I didn't put that in. So that's something you definitely want to put in. Perhaps something like you can even go on the first screen if you really want to. It doesn't have to be a permanent button. You could just have the customer's name here, set special objects, customer properties, customer name. And just put it there instead. It doesn't have to be a permanent button on the screen. Depends on how much real estate you want to use up. Okay, so the finished one, sales mode. There's our sales screen. Again, I would obviously put a logo on there, make it look a bit better. More functions, its text needs to go a bit smaller. That needs moving across a bit more and probably making smaller the words cart total. In fact, we could do that now, I suppose. There's a real reason. Set font. Just knock them down to say that. There we go. That's it. Keep forgetting to snap to grid. But yeah, that's not so bad. Yep, so that is a sales screen built completely from scratch. Needs a bit more work, obviously, but other than that, it's a good starting point for designing your own. You don't have to have the sales cart on the left. You could have it on the right. I suppose one more last trick you could actually do is you could have a background sheet behind it. So if you do that, right click, send to back, right click permanent button. So again, we want to hide that like this, and then back to normal edit mode. We could. It's a lot harder because you can't drag and select as much, but all your buttons could be embedded within this as a starting page. You could though right click and lock movement, so that'll stop it moving by accident if you want to as well by turning that on. But apart from that, that's pretty much done, I think. It's a bit bright, needs to be a lot darker, I think, there. Could even give it a border, which it already has. Sorry, I meant a object shadow, that's the one. There we go, and just put your boxes and buttons over there. Probably take a bit too much CPU or GPU power, but you could also alter its visibility or opacity in this case. Give it more of that effect. Maybe that looks a bit better. It's up to you. Have a play. The next video will be, the previous video was different customers' examples. So make sure you check that out if you haven't looked already. It does have some great ideas and tricks of what other customers have done and gives you an idea of how maybe you want to lay it out. Okay.